on another exciting. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Hold on. I'm gonna switch you over. We're on a. We're now I can't say my opening. Dang it! That's what I get. Hello, Braxton. Hello, audience. How are you? Happy Sunday. Sunday greetings.
Hey, Starfleet Boy, Sunday greetings. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to spend a little time on Sundays with you, and then over a little later with Fathery and all the folks that come up in these chats. It feels nice. It's like we have like a little brunch. Is this brunch time? Are we in brunch time?
It's brunch time.
Yep. And I can be boozy on Sundays, which is nice. So have
What
a
are you
little
drinking,
drink.
dude?
Well, I just had a little bit of a mimosa, but I'm not drinking for the show. I'm not drinking on the show because it is a daytime show, so you
Mm.
can't like. I don't want to be like Hoda. I don't know if you watched her when she was on. I think it was Good Morning America or whatever with, or it was something with Kathy Lee or something. I forget, but they would drink on in the morning like glasses of wine, and I was like, oh my god, these women are amazing.
During the weekday, dude? Or
Oh
like
yeah,
on
yeah. It
like
was
the
all
Sunday
the, no.
show?
Maybe it was a Sunday show. Darn it, Starfleet Boy had a little bit too many mimosas, but we'll get through. No, it's a lot more fun this way. Um, but what about you, Braxton? Are you drinking anything? You having anything?
Oh, dude, I'm drinking fruit punch Crystal Light, dude. So no, I'm
Oh,
not drinking anything.
Crystal
After
Light, like the classic Crystal Light from like the '80s. It's still around.
Oh yeah, dude.
Ah,
I really
that's so
enjoy
cool.
pomegranate flavored Crystal Light and fruit punch flavored Crystal Light. And the peach tea is also pretty solid as well.
Excellent, excellent. We got a lot of folks in the audience already asking questions, Braxton. Like I'm already interested in like some of these topics. Chris Collins, for example, we'll get to this, but he says, "I thought this was one of the better topics for Lower Decks to cover with working with cover with overworking stress and beta versus delta shifts." So yeah, lots of cool themes to unpack about that. And then Stress Free K says, let's see here. Okay. Some people say this episode um was about thing, but some of my favorite lower decks theme was about nothing. Okay, sorry, they said nothing later. But some of my favorite lower decks themes center around labor issues. Although more work to reduce stress seems like a capitalist dream world. Yeah, that's what. That's true. That's very true. Well, let's get started with the discussion. So the episode summary for this basically, and you can help me out if I miss something. I'm trying to do more episode summaries. Oops, I forgot to silence my phone. Okay. Um, Basically the Cerritos is under a lot of stress. Like there's been a lot of mishaps. Captain Freeman turned into Manuki and turned the whole ship into like her temple, and was creating havoc, and so the engineers have to kind of undo that. And so they decide to go and rendezvous with the Dove, which is a ship that's just like designed for relaxation and rehabilitation from stress, and like, just help you unwind so you can kind of unpack whatever you need to so you can go back to work rested and relaxed, right? Like, so she's like, okay, engineers, you're all overworked and overstressed. This is it. We're going to go to the Dove. You're gonna get like pampered, and we're gonna come back all relaxed and keep going on our missions. And there's also a lot of stress because like the ship's feeling a little overcrowded. I think Mariner mentions that. Like I guess there's a lot more people aboard the Cerritos for whatever reason. That's an interesting little thing that they're building up this season. I don't know where it's going. Maybe you have some ideas. But anyways, while that plot's going on, Mariner, Tendi, and Boimler decide that after hearing about Delta Shift cheating in this lottery to get some quarters, decide, oh, we're gonna out cheat them and do it first, and then we'll get this room, or these four rooms. They think it's four rooms on deck one, but it's actually one room on deck four. And so wackiness ensues. There's a lot of funny gags in this episode. We'll go into some details because I took screenshots of all my favorite ones, and hopefully some of your favorite ones too, Braxton. And yeah, did I miss anything? Oh,
No.
and they magically cure Captain Freeman with a weird device that gives you 3 week, oh no, 3 months or something like that worth of like relaxation in just like 10 seconds. It's crazy.
You know, your recap reminded me of something. So my dad is in San Francisco this weekend doing military stuff. He sent me a photo of him and a captain of a ship in front of the ship. And my dad was telling me that the ship can carry 8,000 soldiers. And he's like, oh my gosh, like these people are on the ship for 7 months at a time. There's no privacy. There's just like these huge, like sleeping quarters that's like filled with like all these bunks, So, just thinking about my dad's experience and then, thinking about the opening of this week's show like where they're sleeping, it's just like a madhouse. There's just like people
It
flying
was,
around,
yeah.
like everyone's everywhere. Like you just have no privacy. So it's like, oh, well now there's a space coming up. Like, ooh, let's try to get this space before like the other people can.
Yeah, totally. No, it's true. It's and I can't believe they failed to see that they could just put four people in one. That's the lower decks. That's
But
the
Starfleet
gag.
Boys. So here's the thing. So did you think of that solution the first time that you watched it?
No,
Because
I was
the
caught
first
up
time
in
that
the
I
whole,
watched it,
yeah.
dude, I
No,
didn't
it's
think of that
true.
either, dude.
I agree with that. That's true. I didn't think of it. And that just goes to show that like at the end they're trying to like be unethical, but they're too like ethical actually. And that's wonderful actually. That's delightful. That's how we all want to be. So I'm glad I didn't think about I didn't maybe I'm a little naive, but I'd rather be naive than Delta Shift. Who wants to be on Delta Shift, man? If someone assigns me to Delta Shift, I'd just rather leave Starfleet. Uh, I'd be like, no, thank you, bye. I'll Delta Shift out of here, bye. What did you think of this episode, Braxton? Now we talked about it, fresh off the premiere on Thursday on Spaces. But now that you have time to sit on it, like, how do you feel about it a few days later? Have you watched it a bit more? Have you watched it more
So
times?
I did watch it a third time. So I didn't like this episode as much as the last episode, though I did enjoy it. I thought it was cool that they took us through the places in the ship that we don't see. I thought that that was cool. It kind of reminded me of Stand By Me a little bit, where like the friends like go on an adventure and like
Oh, that's
they see
cool.
like dead bodies and like they wade through stuff and then they get to the end of their adventure and they bonded.
I love
Um,
that. It's sad that Rutherford didn't get to be a part of that, but that's all right. But I do love that. He was pretty mad at the end. I like that scene where he's like, "You guys didn't think of this? What's wrong with you?"
but
you
yeah,
rarely you rarely see Rutherford lose his chill, right? Like, so it's always like funny when he does, I think.
It's unfortunate that 300 years in the future, crewmen still have to live in really tough communal circumstances that don't give them any privacy. Like I was just telling you about, my dad telling me about the Navy ship, and so like the Navy ship is kind of like, a Star Trek vessel. Um, yeah,
I
it's
my
unfortunate. Life of a soldier is hard.
Yeah, it's true. My headcanon for it, and kind of based on what we've seen on screen, is that in more peaceful times, like there's fewer like security forces deployed on starships. So starships feel more like roomy. But then when there's like a when there's like tensions, or like for example in Star Trek the original series, the crew complement of Enterprise is like 400 and something, 400 plus. But in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, they only have half that amount of crew on the Enterprise. So that's kind of like why she feels so much more spacious, I think, in Strange New Worlds. Also, because it's just, you don't have to it's, the designs don't have to like match up, but like in my, in like one interpretation could be that like it's because right now they're like in a less stressful time for the Federation or whatever, right? So there's less people, and it's, I think you can back that up because there's a lot of red shirts on on the original series, and then like in Next Generation, a ship like the Galaxy class, at first there's like tons of space on there. Everyone seems to have quarters on the Enterprise D, but then when you see her again in Star Trek Generations, I think she feels a little crowded, and different, and it's because this is like a post like a lot of like tensions and wars, and so there's probably a lot more security forces stationed aboard Enterprise D as well at that point. So yeah, I don't know.
And thinking about the precedent of ensigns sharing space. You remember in Strange New Worlds, Uhura was
Oh yeah,
sharing that
that's
space
right.
with
That's
those
right.
two dudes.
That's right.
So like ensigns do
Maybe
bunk
ensigns
up,
have to,
it
and
seems.
it's
Yeah.
good actually, like maybe that's a good way to teach you how to like continue to work outside of the work, to continue to like have kind of a team sort of thing. If you're going to be in tight quarters, you should learn how to like navigate that, and it's a good time to do it when you're young, when you're an ensign.
Hmm.
Unless you're like me where you're an admiral ensign. I'll go into the military and they'll put me straight into admiral, but with an ensign's responsibilities. No,
But
I don't
I
know
feel
what
like a
that
lot of
means.
times, young people don't mind sharing space. Like if you've just kind of left home, like a lot of people like share space with their brothers and sisters. Like it's kind of easy for like young people to bunk up.
Yeah, I agree. It felt like I feel like as I get older, I want my own room, when I travel and stuff like that. I'm less inclined to do the roommate thing, but hey, it's part of aging. But yeah, when I was younger, I had no problem like bunking or sleeping in the weirdest places like closets. Like I used to like I would like go on a trip or something, and like if there was no room, I would just like tuck myself into like a blanket in the closet, and it was
Oh
great.
wow.
But you're little, you can do that. Now I'm
Yeah.
too, and my joints don't work as well either. So
I was just imagining you like as an adult, like crawling out of a closet in the morning, like after you've been like, scrunched in the closet like all evening, and like you like wake up and like your knees feel like arthritic.
we'll leave it at that. But here's
Sorry,
the
Stockley, boy, cut it, dude.
but back on track. Jill says I don't even recall seeing security red shirts on Strange New Worlds. There are tons on Kirk's Enterprise later. There's a quite a few red shirts, but there's not as many. You're right. There's I think there's like a good proportion of them. But look here, look how crowded it is. It's different from previous seasons that we've seen where it's been pretty chill in these hallways. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I like the towel guy keeps coming back every season. He's funny, and we get his name. I forget it right at the moment, but Fathery let us know about it on Text Track. Oh, and he's here in the audience too. And he says, "I like having roommates when I was younger. That's cool." Yeah, I've always lived with people, so in a way, I've always had roommates. But right now I live with family, so it feels familiar. Father says,
So
"Stay out of the closet." So hale. What's
why do
that?
they have towels when they're taking sonic showers where there's no water? That seems weird.
Oh, it's for modesty, I think. Like
Hmm.
otherwise, you would just like walk around in the nude, right? Like, and some species might not appreciate that. Like, not everyone's like the beta
But
Z,
it seems like they would have developed like some other kind of like garment or like modesty cover than like a towel, because there's no water, so you just want to just like cover yourself
Oh, like you
and
could
then
wear
like,
shorts. You could wear like board shorts or something, right?
yeah,
Because they, yeah, like that's totally true. That's a good point. I
yeah,
like it. I like seeing,
okay.
folks running around in towels now.
I thought it was weird that so like a couple episodes ago, like I feel like we saw Tendi in a towel like outside of her bunk, and I was like, like that seems weird. It seems like maybe there would be like some kind of like dressing area like outside of where the sonic showers are, and you like go in there fully clothed and like take your clothes off, go in the sonic shower, and then put some new clothes back on, and then you just like walk out
Yeah, I
into
think the
the sleeping area.
Cerritos is the first time that I can think of where we see like communal sonic showers in Star Trek. But but the way it seems laid out on the show is that there is all that stuff that you talked about. So you like there's it's like a whole you walk into a deck, it's like a whole like grooming facility, like a spa basically. And so the sonic showers are part of like the gym and stuff like that. So that's what it seems like, so it's just off to the one side, like the communal ones anyways. But yeah, we haven't really seen it. But I wonder if they'll like. I see that they're putting out more details on these schematics like every season. So maybe the team, Mike McMahon and his team, or someone who's like Mike Okuda who's involved and stuff like that could maybe do a Cerritos technical manual. I'd love that. Like I would totally buy one. Like until that comes out, like everyone just has to kind of make up stuff. So I'm making up that all that is a part of the facility. You know what I mean? That we just don't see it on screen.
Mhm.
So I think that's how it works. But yeah, it's different. I think towels interest. It's interesting that you bring up the towel thing because yeah, you don't really need to dry off unless I saw that like you could turn up the sonic shower seemed to like do something and create heat. So maybe you sweat or something, which is kind of weird to think about. I don't know.
Mm.
But I don't know why you would need a towel. That's a good thing. Sonic showers are interesting, and I appreciate them from the perspective of like conserving water in space and stuff like that. You can't have like that much water. It's like hard to you have to have like although replicators replicate water, so I don't know how that works, but maybe you can just replicate lots and lots of water. But I personally would want to once in a while just want to take an actual wet shower, like a water shower, because
Because the shower does feel good, like
showers feel great, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So, but maybe sonic showers feel amazing too. Who knows? We have no context for it. It's one of the neat things about Star Trek is like it's a totally wild concept, but it one day something like that'll happen because you can actually use sound waves to do things like scrubbing or like maybe refreshing the skin or something, whatever it does to simulate getting a water shower, so it's pretty cool.
Totally.
Sorry, audience, if we spent way too much time talking about sonic showers. Jill says, "Keep on puffin." That was a funny scene. Says sonic showers make no sense. How how do you rinse space dust off your hair? It's true. I know. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Oh yeah, stress free K reminds us that Enterprise has a clothing optional communal decontamination chamber. Uh, I'm with Starfleet boy. Tiny towels are just fine for the Federals. That was the name of the character crew. And then Chris, hello Christopher Denault. Nice to see you, sir. I love Mariner's response to the mask incident. Yeah, that was really funny. Don't don't touch the masks. By the way, Braxton, did you see? Have you seen that episode, Masks, the TNG
Oh,
episode, in a
oh
while?
yeah, I've seen
What
this
do you think of
episode.
that episode?
I just remember the really weird voice that Data was making. Um,
Musaka.
hmm
Musaka is coming. I think that one, like, and then when he was Musaka, it was like a little more regal sounding or whatever. It was really cool.
Yeah, but I remember it kind of looking like tribal or something. But I don't really even remember what the action was on it, besides him putting on the mask and then being like transformed.
The civilization they're called the Darcy, and what it is like they have these like probes or whatever that when you come near them, they they basically assimilate and transform your like vessel into their culture. And I forget the details too. I haven't watched it in a long time, like why the civilization does it, but it was really cool because it's like an archaeology episode without having to go and do archaeology. It's like you can just stay on the Enterprise and do it. Uh, so I love that about it. And I was obsessed with that episode when I was a kid. So I loved seeing Manuki here, this character that Captain Freeman turns into. And I think Manuki, in my mind, is a higher god than the one that Data was doing in which was Masaka. So I feel like we just met Manuki's boss. I mean, sorry, we
What
just met Masaka's boss here.
was Data flying around like that also?
No, Manuki's got way more power. Like Data, who
Mm.
knows what would have happened if they kept letting it, letting the thing take over or whatever. But yeah, no, this was, and I also love that it's not the first time. It's almost like she says it's like a problem, like that, like these artifacts they keep running into them, and they convert all the all these starships into the past, into this like civilization's like story. It's pretty funny. Um, but yeah, I love that it's like a to me this felt like a nice little like a little love nod to masks, and I appreciated that.
Looking at your screenshot here, um, pardon me. Lower Decks is so beautifully animated. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking at the at the stars and like how we're seeing like the different
oh yeah,
colors
the
like in the spectrum of light. I think that's really cool.
and I think if I'm not mistaken, it follows the oh gosh, like okay, so just disclaimer, I'm not a scientist, but like the Doppler shift or the Doppler effect, which so when you're looking at things that are closer in the Doppler effect, they're like blue, and things that are further away are show up in red or something like that. So I think since we're at warp, one of the effects of warping is like a Doppler effect on the stars,
Mm.
and I don't know, it looks pretty cool.
It does look
You're
very cool.
it does. There's all kinds of different warps too now in Star Trek. Like the original series never did. Like you never actually like you just saw stars moving faster. I think TNG had this look, which I always loved. The whole, all the way through Enterprise, they kept this look for the warping. The films had a different kind of look for warping as well. So warping changes like throughout throughout Star Trek. Like in Discovery they warp differently. Like that warp drive has like a tunnel that it seems to travel through or something like that. It's pretty interesting. And
Are you familiar at all with the organism that Tendi is tending to?
oh, so like no, it's just called Goopy in this episode. And at first I thought this could be like maybe a hint that what Murph like
Hmm.
is. Like
Yeah.
but I think Lower Decks takes place after Prodigy, maybe. I'm not sure, or like there's something going on there. But regardless, it could be the same species as Murph. We might be getting some clues about Murph. Here, let me find my gloopy slide. There we go. I put them side to side so y'all could see. But doesn't that little gloopy look like a bit little tiny baby Murph?
Dude, and that's what I was gonna say. So maybe it's
Yeah.
a less mature Murph. And Murph is still, I feel like Murph is still like a kid for his species. So maybe that's like,
Well,
like an infant, dude, like a
yeah.
like a newborn.
I do think that Star Trek is going to be doing. Here we go. Let's see. This is 2 years before Prodigy. Oh, then that could
Mm.
potentially even be Murph.
Oh my gosh, dude. It would
Not
be
just the
amazing if
Murph
that was Murph,
species,
dude.
but like maybe this could be Murph. So it might be neat if Gloopy kind of continues to develop as a character
Hmm.
in Lower Decks. So yeah, interesting,
Yeah, dude.
interesting.
Mm.
But yeah, Murph could be like 2 years old.
Goopy. Hmm.
Goopy could turn into Murph. And Murph is a name that they gave Murph anyways. We don't know what Murph's real name is. What if Murph's real name is Goopy?
Hmm.
And what if like Tendi, like the best thing is that Murph was like nurtured and raised by Tendi.
Wow.
That would be a cool thing. I would like that. I'm not gonna put my hopes up on that though, because like, the writers can do whatever they want, but
Hmm.
but I think it's an interesting little development. Keep on. Pepin says Murph species is in the Delta Quadrant, but some Alpha Quadrant species have made their way there. Not sure about the other way around. Let's see here. Also, Stress Free K says, I feel like the engineers on Billups in particular are very persnickety about how systems are restored on the ship. Let's go back to the engineers. I loved, I love seeing this, like this, all the stress.
I love how he smacked Shax and then like broke down into his arms. He's like,
And then he smacks him
ah. He
again.
just like lashed out.
Billups really loses his cool with Captain Freeman too. So I think she did a good job, by the way, of like, I think she was on the right, like she had the right idea, like these people need a break. Let's, but maybe she didn't think about like how they should take a break, like what would be what some people would want as a break. Um, in various like in my personal experience in various like sort of corporate environments, sometimes when you're that big like of an organization or a team, you kind of tend to go for these one size fits all type of things. I think what she should have done is just said like mandatory day off, or 3 days off. Everyone go do something that you find relaxing and chill out. No work allowed, and then we'll meet back here, in 3 days and keep going. But she was just convinced that like the dove was the answer, and that's totally not what it was. Because like not everyone wants to get a mani pedi or like like or play with puppies or whatever. There's different ways to wind down. So like for me right now, winding down is 12 Monkeys. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. In fact, it's all I can think about outside of Star Trek, of course. So yeah, everyone has a different way of like kind of chilling out, and so I think that's like one of the cool things about this episode. um
It's too bad they weren't near Riza.
Oh, whoa. Uncle Arthur says, I think Starfleet Boy needs to publish a book called Star Trek as I See It. I feel like the way I see Star Trek is a very, like, general, common way of seeing Star Trek. Like, I feel like a lot of folks see it that way, but maybe not. I don't know. Don't you all see it through, like, a loving lens of, like, appreciation and joy?
I do, except for Picard.
Ah, ah.
Hey, and Enterprise.
Stress free K, DM me your questions about 12 Monkeys, but I'm only on episode 8, so if you're ahead of me, don't tell me anything about the future. I don't want to know. Anyways, moving right along, this is when Rutherford's like feeling like, oh man, I'm gonna miss out on fun up here. I can't believe I have to go, on this thing. And that's one of the other things. Is like, had Rutherford just had time off, he would have just hang out with his friends, and maybe that would have been what recharges his batteries. So it was like another good example, I think, of that. But I like this scene a lot because this is where Gloopy jumps out, and then Tendi has to go after Gloopy, and we already put up this screenshot here. But then she overhears the Delta shift with their nefarious plan, and I love this. What did you get? What did you like? Would you like to see the Delta shifters keep coming? What do you think of them?
Well, I think they're total jerks.
Yeah,
They
they
totally double crossed our crew. Um, like they played cool, and then as soon as they took an opportunity, they took it. You know, I don't like those guys, dude.
Plus, they're like definitely being, shady, right?
Definitely, dude.
I think it's interesting. I hope we see them as I hope we see them as reoccurring characters that come in to annoy the lower deckers. But it down the line, I think Delta Shift should either either they should like eventually be friends. Like I feel like that's the whole spirit of like Starfleet, right? Is like the spirit of like friendship and exploration and all that good stuff. So hopefully they start being more ethical and like they feel bad about kicking these guys when they were down the beta shifters. I also do think it's funny that like in society there's this whole kind of ugly name calling that you see where people call you a beta. Have you ever heard that term? Like
Mhm.
I think you've used it actually.
I
Braxton.
have, yeah,
You
I
have actually. So,
have.
so sorry, I didn't mean to shame you publicly. So I thought that was interesting how like Delta Shift kind of was doing that to our lower deckers, and this scene was pretty funny by the way. Like I loved all this and like Tendi being like, "Oh, I'm so excited to play in the gray area, the ethical gray area and stuff like that." Thank you. I'm seeing some comments. I'm not going to share them because I'm blushing now. There's a lot of lovely things in the audience. You guys are distracting me. I'm supposed to talk about Star Trek. But here's the Dove and the nine engineers. It's cool that there's like a nine engineer, like a core team. I'm sure there's a lot more. But another thing that I thought was cool, and I'm sure someone else already mentioned this. I think probably Jurg has, if he's probably observed this already. He usually catches these things, or AJ Hallowell as well. But I love that the letters of the Dove over here are the same typeface that like is on the is on like Starfleet ships. So like here's a good example of it, which is the one for the NCC 1701 over here. So that was a nice little return of that classic typeface, which I think they do also use in the Next Generation, but it's not as like prominent as in the original series films.
You
So
know, that thing on the desk looks like a printer.
I thought of it as like one of those things where you like press it and then the screen comes up.
Mm,
Like see the tip of the screen right there.
mm,
Maybe I don't know,
mm. Okay, okay.
but
I
yeah,
think
this
I
was.
was looking, I was like, ooh, is that like a
But that is like the
printer or
front
like
desk,
a
right?
register or something? Like,
The Dove is like the Four Seasons or something, right? Like that would be like the front desk, so it would make sense that there's something there, like some kind of like office type of thing, right? Like a check-in. Oh, maybe it's like a check-in thing. That's how you check into the Dove.
it does look like something that you see at a hotel.
Yeah, at a hotel or a spa, right? Like,
Hmm.
imagine some folks come here and stay here for like months. And was Spock, remember in Discovery season 2, was like he on a facility like the Dove? Was he on the Dove? Like that would be cool. Well, I don't know if it's the same Dove because it's like hundreds of years later, but but I wonder if that was a thing. Like, I wonder if there's like a. I think he was at a facility like at a base. I have to go back and watch that episode, but yeah. Um, let's see here. Joel says, I love how Delta Shift are basically drawn the same as Beta, like the animated series cutting corners, just switching colors. Yeah, it's interesting. It's true. Uh, Keep on Puppet says, Beta men are my type. Alphas are stressful and exhausting to deal with. My family gatherings of potential alphas fighting are just no freaking fun. Yeah, I hear ya. I don't know. Personally, I'm like trying to fight the concept and like trying to say like, oh, these are just constructs. Like people are a myriad of things. Like we're just like alpha, beta, delta. At any given moment, we like can slide in and out of those like designations. So maybe we're like, I'm less of a you're just one thing and you stick to it, kind of thing. I think you can be interesting and everyone loses their temper sometimes, or there's a line that must be drawn here for everyone, But maybe my line is just far. What do you think, Braxton?
You know, so I said beta when we were talking about Michael Burnham and Buck
Oh,
for
did you
some
call
reason.
Book a beta?
I did, and I don't
Oh, I
remember
don't
what the
remember.
context was in one of our reviews, but I totally remember saying that because beta is not,
But he proved you wrong.
in my vocabulary, generally. I feel like that dude, Sean, whatever, gives like alpha a bad name and people like, and it's not cool anymore.
Yeah, I agree. It's not cool anymore. But uh Book certainly proved us wrong. He wasn't like a second fiddle to anyone. Book was awesome in season 4. I don't know. I don't remember what you thought, but yeah, yeah. Book is no one's a one thing. But I do love what Jill is saying. I'm personally all oh wow, Siri tried to show me what a beta was. Thanks, Siri. No thanks. I do like what Jill says, like people who are just less prone to aggressive behavior, I think are much nicer to deal with. I personally try to curate folks like that in my circle of friendship as well. So if you want to call that a beta, that's fine with me. Not you, Braxton, but just like people in general want to consider that a beta, that's fine with me. To me, it's a person who's well balanced and doesn't just have one aspect to their personality. So I like that.
Totally.
Yeah. But back to that was a good sidebar and relevant. But back to the Dove. We meet Taz here and her crew, and this is something like really interesting to me. I liked the idea of, to me in the future, I feel like there's more of a focus on rehabilitation rather than like, like rather than putting you away, or locking you up when you're misbehaving, like, or out of line or whatever. Uh, Starfleet, or the Federation rather, I should say, like has a focus on rehabilitation. So they're like, you just need to chill out. Like, here, let's go hang out on this like super cool ship. But you do see that the Adosian character Taz does have like the full medical authority, because she could order Captain Freeman to, you know, uh, to like take a 3 month break, which is what I think she was gonna do for her. She said I'm gonna have to send you back to Earth or something like that. I forget. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a cool like there were stakes on the line in this episode. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, cool. I don't know if you all can hear that. I'm sorry. But we get introduced to these wristbands that are like mood bands. This reminded me of like what my Apple Watch does, or like a Fitbit, or like one of those kinds of devices, right? Like, because my Apple Watch will tell me, "Oh, your heart rate is elevated, but you're sitting down. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Why? Why? Oh, I'm watching TV. Okay, because I'm excited about something that just happened." But it's cool that it like updates you, and but it also, kind of like it's an interesting technology because everyone in this facility can see your mood. Like, they can see if you're green and chill, or yellow, or like, what was it? It like turned black and red. It turned red and then black. And it was like, oh my God, she's like bonkers. So yeah, it was an interesting little device, but I liked it because it showed you in the episode, like, where she was at, like at various times. I think they were very good at updating them and keeping them like, changing it to depending on like what you saw of the mood on screen. So yeah, I really love this. But I also like the different therapies that are offered. Like, I think they said that the mud bats were from Tellar Prime, so that was a cool reference to Tellarites. I'm sure Fothery and Larry Nemechek were very happy about Tellurite inclusion. And then over there, the puppies. And, at first I was a little offended about the cat thing, but I do find it more funny than anything. What, like, we're both cat people, so we're like, what? I do wish we'd seen kittens, though, on screen. I think there were no kittens, so that was a little disappointing. We see like that you could do things like this too, like battle stuff, so like that's like, showing that there are different ways that they also at the facility seem to offer to relax. So it's interesting. But Captain Freeman was tripping everyone up with her like insistence that the way to relax was like to like get massages and like manis and petties and things like that, like which I don't know if it was Taz's ideas though, but they were pretty, like both of them, if that's the case, were pretty focused on like knowing what, like showing what they know rather than listening to the people that needed the help, which I thought that was interesting as well.
Oh no, totally. I think you're right. You know, I would have loved the mud bath, dude. I feel like I
That
can
would have been
would
nice,
feel
yeah.
its coolness, you know.
I've been in like natural springs that are like that have like minerals or whatever, and like they're kind of like you can like kind of bathe in them, and it's wonderful. I want to go to that one in Iceland. Have you seen that famous one in Iceland that everyone goes to? It's like a cloudy lagoon, and it's warm. It's a natural hot spring, and like people go and just chill there. There's a lot in Japan too. There's a lot of those in Japan. So
Oh wow, dude,
uh,
I haven't heard of them.
yeah, I love the idea of living in a cold place where there's like hot springs nearby because you can just go and like dip in the hot spring if you want to.
You know,
But
I was reading about a death at the hot springs, like in the United States, just this summer. Like this dude had like, you know, like he got too close, like he got off the boardwalk, he like fell into the hot spring. Like the hot springs water is not only hot, but it's also acidic. And there was a human foot that was found after he was reported missing.
oh my. Well, I
Hmm.
think the ones that you're allowed to bathe in are not that acidic. but this poor person incidentally and I'm sorry to sidebar, but I think it is interesting like in there's places that there's like really toxic hot springs because there's like a lot of chemical like sulfur or whatever or
Hmm.
acids as you say, and they're usually like I think like I forget what I think it's Yellowstone National Park has a bunch of these locations, and
Hmm.
unfortunately people do get lost and sometimes fall in and do perish. It's terrible. It's that is not the way I fear that I would be one of those people. I'm like kind of scared to go.
You crazy. I would die straight off the path at Yellowstone, dude. I'm afraid of animals as well.
Well, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, these are safe mud baths, Braxton. I'm sure you can sit in that mud bath for hours and not melt, except all your stress would melt away. So that's good.
Dude, yeah.
But here we have like Boimler showing the plan, and I don't have a close up of it here, but on Text Track we did a close up of the little pad display that shows their route, and it's really funny. Like the route is like really crazy, but it makes sense like the way you see it in the episode, like the way they go through and everything like that. It's pretty funny. um so then this scene was great. It gets better every time I watch it too. It's just so funny. I love I love the way Lower Decks uses the holodeck. They really I think even back in season 1 Mike McMahon said something to along the lines of like we're gonna use the holodeck but like in new and interesting ways, and so far I feel like he's kept his promise, and even when it just makes like a cameo appearance like this, it's pretty fun, and like there's a lot of like interesting things about it. But yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's
totally. This
a lot to unpack in this scene. What was your favorite bit in here?
so this was my favorite overall scene for this
Oh,
particular
right on.
episode. You know, I loved it when Dr. Ta'ana said that they were gonna do the nasty while they made the hostages watch. I thought that was super funny. You know, and so and this whole thing about what happened with her tail that we didn't get, like I was just like daydreaming about it today. I was imagining that like we're gonna be on the show's like last episode, and Dr. Tiana is gonna be like in like the mess hall, like talking about it, and then like it's just the screen is just gonna like fade to black, like before we ever find out. We'll be like, "Damn, we always wanted to know like what happened to the tail," but they're never gonna tell us what happened to the tail. But this scene was totally hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I loved all this. It was really funny. I also like the just like again like there's I think there's so many levels that Lower Decks operates on in terms of like Star Trek delightfulness, and one of those for me is like technical stuff. So I really like the idea that there's like you can access like an exit, you know, from the holodeck in a dangerous situation. That there is a way out. Like you could, you know, figure out where the access panels are and stuff like
You
that.
know,
So
something else. So Dr. Tiana isn't like the most emotionally available, but she will step up for you when she has to. Like I'm thinking of when she was talking to Tendi a couple episodes ago. She's like, "Oh, like you shit the bed, huh?" And Tendi was like, "Yeah." And then Tiana was like, "Okay, well, all right, well, we got to do this." And it's like, "Let me go ahead and like pump her up." And then like Shax was like, "Oh, like we never talk about like all these things. Like we never talk about like me dying." And like I'm feeling like Dr. Anna is like you know, like she's a little bit emotionally unavailable, but then she's like, okay, well, let me confide something in you. Like, you know, do you know how I lost my tail? I love Dr. Tiana, dude. She's my favorite character on the show.
Oh wow, nice. I haven't picked a favorite character. I keep going to Boimler, but then I keep loving like someone every week does something. I'm like, oh, maybe they're my favorite character. But yeah, maybe Boimler is my favorite lower decker. But among the upper deckers, I think I like Captain Free. I love her. Like she reminds me of my mom. Like in good ways, not like in a bad way. I don't have fights like that with my mom, but we have a good relationship. So, but I imagine my mom doing a lot of things. Carol, I think they'd be good friends too in real life. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, I think that's and then probably I would say like after that it's a tie among all the rest of them because they're all like Shax has his great moments and Dr. Tayana and like they're all just so funny. Like we'll talk about it in a second. Oh, I'm having a delivery. Hang on a second. I'll be right back, Braxton. Talk about the
Oh,
next scene.
okay. So, so, well, I guess we didn't go to really like another scene.
Oh well,
Um,
yeah. Sorry, this is the same scene, but oh, and sorry that I have Galadriel. Galadriel on my avatar. All right, sorry about that. Starfleet Boy is a casual and informal show. If you guys don't know that, sometimes we have interruptions. But this, I was speaking about my mother, and somehow she materialized with a cup of tea in a Star Trek mug because she's such a sweet mom.
I'm
So
a bad first officer, Starfleet boy. I couldn't pick up the reins right away. Like you left, and I was like in shock. I didn't know what to do or say, dude. I was like, oh my God,
no, you're
like
doing a
I'm
great job. You're
frozen.
you're an amazing friend and an amazing co-host, and like I think our audience they'll forgive us some of these little things. Father just edits it out. I don't do any editing. So if you ever come on the show, just know it's not edited. You, control yourself and behave yourself on Starfleet Boy. That's all I gotta say. um, but no, the reason I actually stopped on this is just I love the way that Shax kind of did this like almost like a dance kind of step, and Tiana does a twirl. He twirls her off of the bar, and it was very romantic and
Mm,
like with the lighting and everything. I should have made it bigger on the screen actually now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that was a really cool moment. And then this is the other techie thing that I loved was like how you could see as she's leaving the hologram, the holographic field or whatever you want to call it, she's turning back into we're starting to see color return to her. And I love that like kind of thing. You see it when they come in as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
yeah.
And then this scene was so wild, and I don't know if we knew about this when we talked about it on Spaces, but I found this out on the internet and then on Text Trek on the discussion on Friday. But that's one of the Duplers dead in the vines underneath the Cerritos. And you
Who
were
are the
talking about how you
duplets?
liked going through the underbelly of the
Who are the
Cerritos.
duplets, dude?
Remember the Duplers last season were the ones that every time they got nervous, they would duplicate. Oh
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
one of those. Yes,
Yes.
dude. I see the collar and the cape now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is terrible. Oh my gosh.
And Jill points out that Jurg found it first, so yeah, and that's probably very likely. Or sometimes there's like a bunch of people that see it at the same time. I am not one of those people. I'm not good at like spotting those things on the first run, so I love going online and seeing what folks find.
So
Um,
its body being present, does that mean that like it had like multiplied and then it died before like like the dude like sucked all them back in, dude? I mean, I don't even know what the
Oh
expression is.
yeah,
Like,
because they unmultiply. Yeah. Yeah. So this one strayed off and got lost and could
mm,
not unmultiply, and so maybe that's wild. I didn't even think about that. There's a
mm.
half dupler. Well, the original dupler is back to being one, so that's fine. I think they were able to get like all the duplers to merge back, except this poor little one. This is
I was
this is
imagining
what.
that maybe like it died before, you know, they could be like unmultiplied.
Yeah, and I don't know how they identify, so I'll just say they died. But yeah, but that that dupler is there forever because it was also pointed out that the lower deckers never even noticed it. Like so, it's just gonna sit there. It's gonna keep on staying there underneath the vines here.
Mm, gosh, gross.
But then you get this scene with uh, uh, what's his name? Why am I blanking? Kayshawn, who's into flowers and botany and stuff like that. And Tendy points out that like the I think the very same plant that he's tending to, it survives on nitrous oxide, which is what you laughing gas basically, which you get at the dentist. You know, it makes you loopy. But combined with that and the oxygen depleting in the area around this around this plant, um, Boimler and Mariner start to hallucinate, and this is like probably and still I've seen it like a few times now, and I just can't stop laughing. This is like one of my favorite scenes they've done on the whole show, and it's like so funny. I made the cover of this after this scene, but here's the
Oh, dude, you missed the mistress slit your throat bit with
oh.
Kayshawn.
Oh yeah, no, that was funny too. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about the Temerian phrases. They're always so funny. It's true.
I was like, oh my gosh, mistress slit your throat. Wow.
But it probably means something like you're stunning. Like he's probably telling the flower it's stunning. Like
I
you
feel
know
like
what I
he was
mean?
like cutting the flower
Oh, I think he was
and
cutting like he was making cuttings, but oh yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe like when they cut flowers. I don't know. Temerians are weird. They're
hmm
cool. It's all metaphors, right? So,
yeah.
but yeah, that was pretty funny. Okay, Jill confirms that he was cutting it. Yeah, but I did miss that. Sorry. But let's go back to this trippy shit. I love the visualizations. Like I hope this is the shirt for this week of like I hope one of these things is like the shirt. I really really hope so. Or if not, I hope they make this shirt like so that somewhere down the line like that. I feel like I would love to go to like a techno music festival or something like that wearing like a shirt with Boimler's face like that. Like that would
Dude,
be
that is
amazing,
awesome.
right? uh, her eyes are so funny.
I also see the Tendy Star butterfly. I didn't actually notice that before.
Yeah, and like I like how Mariner makes fun of it. Like her, she like kind of repeats what she's saying. Like we gotta go. It's like dangerous or something like that. We gotta go. Like it's really funny. They're so ripped here. It's like they're out of it. Look at this where it opens up like a cavern and it's a maze or whatever. It's like this is really funny too. But then all that's funny and like like kind of like charming or whatever, but then you get like what they really are, like what's happening like in in real life, and it's even funnier because Boimler's like drooling and like he's just like super manic, and so is Mariner, and like she actually thinks she's inside an egg, but it's like just roots, like broken old roots surrounding her, and she's in this water or like this bog, basically. It's just so funny, and then Tendi has to like kick them and like move them like forcibly into the area where she can like reestablish the proper air air ratios.
Tendi had to beat her to get her to like come back to herself. Like I was imagining, like I was remembering like my grandmother like hitting me with switches when I was like like 8 or 10, and dude like man that tree stalk would like tear your legs up, dude. Like oh yeah, you start moving right away, dude.
Totally. uh Joel says Tendi chasing Mariner with a stick was great. Oh, was that? Sorry, I think I was on mute. But Tendi chasing Mariner with a stick was great, says Joel. Um, and I also like the. What did she say to her? Like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry you had to hatch or something like that, right?
Dude, I wonder why Stress Free K said, "Oh, Braxton, please don't go there." Like, I wonder what
Oh,
I said, dude.
oh yeah. What did you say? What did you say?
All I was talking about was the was the switch that my grandmother used to use, and like thinking about it in comparison to Tendi hitting Mariner with the stick and
Oh,
how it
gotcha, gotcha.
motivates you.
Oh, I see, I see. Well, that might cause like some bad memories, I guess, for some folks who had bad experiences. But we'll try to be respectful. But I don't think you said anything out of turn, Braxton. um, this scene was pretty cool with the circuit board or whatever they're creating on the sand. You're supposed to like make like rings and squares and circles or whatever. I I'm just laughing
They're
at the
making like
comments.
engineering schematics.
Yeah. But Carol's getting angrier when she sees the one engineer who's supposed to be getting a massage, and what she's actually doing is like configuring a device. And she just starts losing it, and I love seeing her like twitchy face. Oh, Jill points out this is just like when Data first tried painting and drawing. That's an interesting like callback. That's cool. I like that. I love this whole sequence. I love seeing the inside of a deflector and how it like works. Like that was pretty cool.
That was
And
interesting.
Boimler is anti-grav boy, defender of the lower decks. It's his superhero character.
Did we miss his first bold Boimler moment already? Is this the second one?
He's been bold Boimler this whole season, but in this episode, it's coming up. It's coming up, that scene.
Okay.
It's coming up, I think, next. Did I? Let me just go back. Yeah, no, it's coming up next. My little presentations are in order, and I definitely caught the that scene there.
Okay. Because I thought he said that he was bold Boimler twice in this episode, like
He's
once
been
before he like
Yeah. Are you
jumped
worried about
down
him, by
ahead.
the way? Are you? Do you think he should be less bold Boimler, or do you like bold Boimler?
Oh no, I like bold Boimler, dude.
You're like digging it. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
worried.
digging
I'm
bold
worried.
Boimler.
I'm vibing with the Mariner, where I'm thinking he's like being a little too bold and might get into some trouble. Like at the end of this
Mm-hmm.
episode, they were like, they even said it like, and you'll be dead in the future because of bold Boimler. And
There's a
Boimler kind
fine
of
line.
nods and says, yeah.
There's a
Like,
fine line between bold and reckless
right. That's true.
sometimes.
That's a good point. You got to know. I think that's where that expression comes up. May fortune favor the bold, because you're about to do something that could be risky. And Captain Kirk says risk is our business. So yeah, maybe there's a good spirit in boldness. But yeah, what Mariner actually says is bold Boimler is not sustainable. It was cool to see the deflector dish being utilized, and like kind of like it, seeing it fire up, and then seeing the space rocks or whatever crash into the shielding, like the deflector shields. So that was pretty cool.
To me, um this scene was just kind of nuts. Like it seems like whatever, is in that deflector would simply just like kill you, and like I don't know, it seems like they should not have spent the 30 seconds, running around trying to escape. Like it seems like their escape needed to be made like right away. But it was cool. They were like, "Oh yeah, like human chain," and then they just like put their clothes together, like strung their clothes together really fast and, use teamwork to get Boimler out. But I was like, I don't know, this doesn't seem realistic. I feel like they would have just like horrible radiation burns, like after like mere seconds. I feel like they would be like charred remains. But anyway, it's lower deck, so hey, no
Well,
consequences.
that's an interesting thing because I mean, I just think of like some of the experiments that Nikola Tesla did, and you can have like maybe this thing works like a Faraday cage, and like maybe you can have like a controlled sort of like environment just inside, but if you hit the walls, that's it, you're toast or whatever. So I think Boimler was still spinning in the middle, and if he had hit the walls, maybe he would have like gotten the radiation burns or whatever. But I don't know. It's a good but a good it is a good call out though, because I think yeah, it looks pretty dangerous. Like this thing, like and I think this is where on a personal level, like I don't, it's like, I don't see like a cartoon as any less important than a live action, presentation personally.
Mhm.
So I think that like I do accept a lot of cartoon physics in a cartoon, because part of the reason Lower Decks is presented as like a comedy, and these are the kind of zany things that like just make you laugh because they are insane, right? And so I do kind of like enjoy and want some of that in Lower Decks, but Prodigy is a lot more faithful to actual physics. Like Prodigy is presented in a animated format, but it's a lot more like like in terms of like you could pretty much easily like see it with kind of like how it relates to a live action thing. So I personally like it, but I could see how it could be like distasteful to someone who wants Star Trek to be always 100% making sense, but like Star Trek doesn't make sense a lot of times, like even live action Star Trek. So it's like, but yeah, in Lower Decks, I kind of love it. I love it when they twist it. Like, look at Boimler's face with like the with like water coming out of his eyes and stretching, and like drool coming out of his mouth. Like to me, that stuff is like delightful. It makes me laugh, and I like I don't know, it's just like the silly parts of my adult like experience come out. And in that way, it reminds me that Lower Decks is so groundbreaking, right, Braxton? Like, do you think because it's like doing something new for Star Trek, like genuinely new, in the sense that like there has never been a Star Trek series like this, a comedy, intentionally funny, like referencing cartoons and Star Trek, referencing a lot of things, animation, like other stories, like we've had references to, I think, what was it like oh, I can't remember now, but like Mike McMahon and his team will throw in references to things outside of Star Trek. It's just a really cool pop culture kind of journey, but I think it like beautifully balances for me. I don't know about you, but for me it beautifully balances the line. So let's see if they ever fall off the the knife's edge. They never.
May they never.
At least not for me. You could fall off the knife's edge for everyone else. I don't care. No, I'm just teasing. Let's see what the folks are saying in the audience here.
Starfleet
This is the
Flight
Enterprise
22.
decontamination replacement scene with the clothes rope. Oh, that's right. So they do have to strip down in this episode into their undergarments, Mariner and Tendi, to fish Boimler out. I like that Tendi grabs him by the hair, by the way. That must be extremely painful. Like, could you imagine? I'm glad I don't have hair.
You know,
because I would not want my hair pulled on.
when I was looking at this, I was thinking, I wonder if those bras have underwire. Like I was hoping that in these 300 years or so that bra technology had changed and it would be more comfortable for them. So I hope that those bras are comfortable.
I hope so too. We'll have to ask. I guess we'll have to ask like, uh, I don't know. No, we can't imagine it because they didn't wear them. So, like, I imagine they are though, Braxton. You know the uniforms, the uniforms they wear in Starfleet. Getting back to Sirius for a second, they're like they're like legitimately like spacesuits. They keep you warm when it's too cold, and they have like all kinds of technology, but they just look like regular clothing.
Mm,
It's pretty
mm.
cool. It doesn't do anything like outrageous, like like get skin tight or whatever. Although we've started seeing a little bit more of that in like modern Star Trek, but which that's not outrageous actually. That's actually quite cool. If you could slip into something and then it tightens on you, that's actually a really good thing, right? Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
actually
dude.
yeah, I
You
actually
can
like
like
that.
let it out a little bit when you've had a big meal.
Yes, that's true. That's a good idea. Actually, yeah, I take back my thing. It's actually a really great idea. I want that technology. Instant girdle. I love it.
Oh wow, dude! It's like shapewear too. Oh my gosh, dude.
Jill points out Boimler is the best Star Trek screamer since Chekhov. I agree, actually. Jack Quaid
Hmm.
is the best screamer we have right now. Because Chekhov was a pretty good screamer. They always made Walter Koenig scream, which is funny. Who else does
Really,
a scream? Who else screams a lot in Star Trek?
dude,
Just
I don't
those are the only
know.
two I can think of. I'm trying to think of who else is a screamy person. Is there anyone screamy on Discovery?
No, not that I can
Audience, chime
think
in.
of.
Let us know who screams on those shows.
You know, right off, I don't know. I was trying to look at a video and see Chekhov screaming really fast. I don't know what a Chekhov scream even
The
sounds
Chekhov
like.
scream, I think, is famous. Like when you hear it, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard him scream." In Wrath of Khan, he screams. That's like his best scream. In Star Trek Two.
Oh wow, dude.
Yeah, have you seen that one yet?
Oh wow.
You've seen
Um,
Star Trek Two, right?
I have.
Oh, okay. Then you'll probably remember when you see the scene, but it's when the little thing is going into his ear. Do you remember that?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. He screams so great.
Dude, if
It's
there's ever a time to scream, dude, it's when a little thing is going into your ear.
Stress Free K does point out that Burnham screams are chilling, but she's not like a constant screamer. Like she doesn't scream as much as Chekhov does. But you're right, her screams are really good. I
When did
remember the
Burnham
one
scream,
when
dude?
she had the thing in her leg. Remember that one?
Mm.
And oh no, the one where she screams in the when she's in the chair dying from the atmosphere, talking
Oh
about being
yeah.
melted,
Hmm.
like like or whatever. Like that scream was chilling. It's true. That was cool. Yeah, good call out there on. I like that. Oh, here's the scene by the way where these guys are cheating. They put they put cucumbers on the sensors so that it would like imitate being chilled out. Of course, the engineers would engineer their way out of relaxation, which is really funny. Of like this style of relaxation, and then that's it. Captain Freeman loses it. And I love this scene, Don Lewis. You get a bridge clap because this is like really good performance.
Dude, her stress totally leveled up.
It
She
did.
went she went to black. She was like, "Oh my gosh, code black. Like this is an emergency. All hands on deck."
This is like why I think of Captain Freeman as my own mom. Like I don't, I shouldn't be saying like too many private things. My mom watches these shows, and she'll probably get mad at me. But like, let's just say there was a period of time where my mom was losing it a lot, She was super stressed out when I was much younger. She's been super chill for like she's like totally enjoying her retirement, so she's not like that anymore. Mom, I'm sorry if you're listening. You're getting mad. She might walk in the store and start screaming right now. You are talking about me on the air. But yeah, I love this scene. I love seeing her freak out. If I were a mom, I think I would also freak out like this. Like I don't know why I think of Captain Freeman as like a mom to everyone, but she acts kind of like a mom to everyone on her ship. What do you
She
think?
does.
Yeah,
No, Captain Freeman is totally like
she gives
a
mom vibes, right?
yeah, she does.
Um, Klingon death screams are the only others I can think of. But yeah, I agree with Jill. Worf screams, but it's not fun like Chekhov or Boimler. It's true. Boimler's scream is awesome. I actually think they should do like someone's probably already done this on YouTube as like a kind of scream compilation for Boimler. That might be funny.
Mm.
Um,
Like the Klingon death scream is like it's like
that's
a
a legit scream,
roar. It's
yeah.
like a yeah, it's really good, dude.
That is a good scream. The screams of Star Trek, the next Starfleet Boys special. We're gonna go through all of it, all the screams ever. um, Here we have when Beta and Delta Shift finally meet up on their journey to get to this console that they want to hack. And did you fall for it? Did you think they were going to be friends for a little, like for a bit before Delta Shift, decides to kick? Look, she kicks Stendi. She like straight up kicks her.
Dude, it's so malicious, dude.
It
So
is.
they totally had me, dude. I was had.
Yeah, especially when they were just like bonding here and talking about like being all together, ensigns sticking together and stuff like that. Yeah, it was like it was good. This is a good scene.
Oh, dude, that kick is so like savage. She could have like broken her thigh bone.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's true. Tendi seems really strong, but yeah, it's true. And then here's like the Captain Freeman getting like intense puppy love, puppy therapy here. She looks so upset. I love it. It's like, and then the engineers break in, and I had to pull up that screenshot of the puppy when because Jill's keep on pupping thing. Like the puppy looks so sad when when Rutherford's like, everybody stop.
And she's lighting up. I feel like this is like besides like when they go like back to the casino, like in some holodecks. I feel like I don't remember anyone visually smoking in Star Trek, but there she is. And I believe that she's smoking something like similar to marijuana. You
Oh,
know.
you think so?
Yeah, I
I
think
thought
so.
I thought this was like a commentary on like vaping, but maybe it is. Yeah, it could be snake leaf. I think is the one in Star Trek what they call marijuana, or it might be a marijuana equivalent. I'm not sure what
Because you
snake
do
leaf
see
was.
it smoking. You see like the stuff like going up. So
Yeah.
I thought that maybe she was vaping at first too, but she obviously has a lighter there.
There's been smoking, not on a Starfleet ship, but there's been smoking in Star Trek. In Star Trek Six, Captain Kirk smokes a cigar. Um, in Star Trek Picard, Rios smokes a cigar as well.
Mhm.
That's all I can think of. I would have loved. This is horrible to say because I am so against nicotine and smoking cigarettes, like tobacco cigarettes. Like I think there's just too much garbage in them and stuff like that. And it's like just like the nicotine part of it, is not a good. It's not a good substance. It can like really wreck you. But just casually, like once in a while, I would have loved to have seen Captain Janeway light up a cigarette and smoke one. Does she do that? I think she does, right on the holodeck. Maybe she does. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't think she does actually, but that would be cool. I don't know why I think of Captain Janeway as a smoker, but maybe it's like a little bit of the raspiness of Kate Mulgrew's voice,
I think that Kate Mulgrew does smoke. I think that's why her
or
voice
did maybe
kind of
at one point. I
yeah.
haven't seen. I've never seen her smoke, but who knows? Uh, what about those World War II holodeck scenes? Those folks would be smoking like chimneys in those days. That's true.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting, but yeah, vaping is a newer thing, so people do it. It's a thing. You got to be safe though, like with anything, everything in moderation. Uh, too much.
Thankfully, she has three arms, dude.
Yeah, but she's stress smoking, which is bad. You should not stress smoke. Definitely don't do that. You shouldn't take any kind of things to relieve stress unless they're prescribed by a doctor. Well, she's a doctor, so okay, maybe this is the one exception. Maybe this is the one exception. She's prescribing it to herself. This opens up a huge can of worms that we're not going to go into in Starfleet Point, but maybe we'll have a future Starfleet Point discussion,
Mm.
after dark discussion about like substances in Star Trek. That's an interesting topic. um, but yeah, so speaking of like solutions to stress, you get in this thing for 10 seconds and voila. What happened? Oh, there it is at the bottom. So Captain Freeman comes out and she's like a new person. She's all green and she's very happy and excited. I said on Friday on Text Trek and also on the space that I'm a little worried about Captain Freeman. I'm a little less worried about her now. Like I was worried that this machine, whatever it is that the engineers created, were messing with her somehow because like it just seems like too much of a miracle to like have 3 months of rest and relaxation in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? But I'm okay now. I don't think that they're gonna do anything further with it. I thought this was gonna be like maybe I was kind of like guessing that this might be like some kind of like Captain Freeman plot that we're gonna see develop. But no, I think it's just a gag and it's over. What do you think, Braxton?
You know, I totally. So I enjoyed this final scene. Like it just seemed like it was like too convenient. But hey, lower decks. That's what they do. I thought it was totally funny at the end of this um uh when the lady was like, "Oh yeah, like we got to get rid of this." Can you imagine like hundreds of these on every Starfleet vessel? Like we'd be out of business, dude. Like it's
I
gotta
think
go.
this is like a step towards like the Borg, like because one of the things that was interesting in Star Trek Picard season 2 is that like the Borg Queen, the way she gets you is by making you by getting you to get a rush. Like she's like
Mm,
she somehow is able to assimilate you faster if your endorphins are pumping or whatever. Like somehow
mhm,
endorphins deliver nanoprobes or whatever,
mm,
at a faster rate. Or her influence, she can exert more influence over you, when you're in that state. So Borg are blissed out. That's how she keeps them in line.
mm,
Like you
mm.
don't think of it that way because on the outside they look like monsters, but like they're basically sedated into zombiness, right? So
Wow.
that's what scares me about machines like this is I don't want to be blissed out too much. I think stress is a intelligent response that the body gives you to like let you know something's wrong,
Mhm.
or an intelligent signal, I should say, that
Like
the
I
body
was
gives you.
when I think of this machine, I think of like the massage chairs that you see like at the mall. Like you like sit down in them and there's like and they're just like massaging you just like everywhere, But this is like a massage coffin, you just like
That's what
put
I'm gonna
you in
call
it.
it. It's a massage coffin. That's
It just
that's exactly what I'm calling it. That's
and
what
it
it
just
feels
like
like.
and it just like gives like a deep tissue massage to like everywhere in your body like at the same time for like 10 seconds.
In the audience, Jill says, "I am old enough to remember people smoking like chimneys in public and in their private offices, and life is significantly better without it." Same here. I was at the very end of that. I remember like being like 6 years old or 7 years old, and my family, everyone smoked inside the house, but then it like seemed like overnight it stopped, which is pretty cool. Like it seemed like there was like a huge kind of shift in mindset and awareness about like the effects of cigarette smoke and also just emissions from cars and stuff like that. So I may still catch some kind of weird lung, thing. I mean, I've been kind of asthmatic or I'm prone to a lot of allergies, so maybe I'm messed up. But hopefully future generations have much stronger lungs and immune responses. If we don't continue to screw up our climate, maybe they'll have a future. But
It's so interesting that people used to smoke at work, like at some of the
yeah.
offices that I've worked at, like there are old desks that are around, and you can see like cigarette burns and things on like some of those old desks. And so
Hmm.
I just found that interesting. 'Cause like, oh wow, people just like at work
People
smoking.
drank
That just
at
seems
work
so
too.
weird.
People drank and drove. They didn't think it was a bad thing. Like it was a
Hmm.
different time. Well, just like with any kind of like societal progress, like you kind of learn sometimes through your mistakes, right? Like so,
Hmm.
but yeah, now we know a lot better. So there's no excuse for anyone who's smoking in front of young people or people who are at risk or anything like that, or just in general. And smokers are very respectful, I think, nowadays. Uh, my dad smokes. He smokes outside, and he's done it since ever since he realized that it was bad. So that's a pretty good thing. There's a lot of folks like that. But yeah, so the Adosians like get rid of this thing because it's gonna put us out of business basically. Taz here, and that was pretty funny too. I like that, but I would have done the same thing actually in if I were in Taz's shoes because that thing does scare me a little bit. It's a little
Did she
scary.
say to flush it out the airlock, dude?
Yeah, like
Is that
just
what she
like
said?
to eject it. I think out of the ship or something.
Mm, but then it still exists, dude, and someone.
Right, it's probably. Oh, you're saying it could come back, right? Like
Mm.
the machine here, this machine could come back. This like chill. What were we calling it? The bliss coffin. What
The
were
bliss
no,
coffin,
the bliss coffin? Like, oh my
massage
gosh,
coffin.
the massage coffin. It's out there floating around in space. Um, so this. I guess I didn't catch the. Oh no, there it is. That's the bold Boimler scene. I didn't catch the actual moment when he says bold Boimler, but this is the part where he's like, "Oh look, this water is going down. Maybe it's a shortcut." And he jumps down without looking, and that's when Mariner's like, "Oh, this is not going to be sustainable." And
Mm.
but they actually make it to the panel, which once they got there and they realized what was going on. This is we talked about this at the beginning of the show, but yeah, like they totally didn't think like we should still hack it and get the room because we could all just bunk together when they found out it's one room instead of four rooms. So that was really funny, but they end up doing the right thing and not cheating in the lottery. But we do know that Delta Shift did cheat, so they went ahead and took advantage of the situation, and we get them celebrating how they're all like rooming together.
They're like, damn, we didn't even think of it.
Yeah, it's like they're like, dang, we were so close, we were right there, right? So yeah, this was awesome. I love this, and I also loved seeing their Delta Shift version of Rutherford. And I think it's funny that he has an eye patch. I love that they're all like so alike, like their
Mm.
counterparts, but it's like no one talks about it or makes note of it. And then, of course, the episode ends with the churro story. I don't think we talked about it, but earlier the Delta Shifter Boimler was suggesting that uh, uh, um, Ransom is doing weird stuff with churros. That he's created like a churro Olivia, like a doll or something, like a person or something
Did
like.
we need to talk about True Olivia?
We do.
I think we could just skip right past it.
Well, what do you have to say about True Olivia?
You know, True Olivia is just too stupid. Like, it's just too dumb. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
like
like True Olivia, dude. It's just too weird. It's too dumb.
I
Like,
love it. What do you think, audience? True Olivia too dumb or too weird, or do you think it's hilarious? What does it is it that it creeps you out? True Olivia.
I mean, yeah, like why do they want to make it why do they want to suggest that he's doing inappropriate things with inanimate
We
objects?
don't know if it's
Like,
inappropriate. He could just be like talking to True Olivia. Like, what if True Olivia is his best friend or something like that? What if Ransom's cracking, and getting a little nuts?
mm, I mean, like I feel like we can see that that Ransom's totally nuts in some ways, but
Has
Chura
Ransom
Olivia
really, and also
is just
Ransom
too much.
hasn't really shown us that he doesn't seem very horny, right? Like, well, there was that thing with Stevens in the naked, it's naked time episode. But outside of that, like, do you see him like going after folks or like trying to? Was he ever hitting on women? Did he or
No,
men even or
not that.
anyone or yeah? Ransom's kind of I don't know. I don't get that vibe.
Hmm. Yeah, he doesn't seem like
A
like
horn dog. Like I don't think he
yeah.
would do that. I don't think he would churro Olivia the way that some folks might be thinking about.
But at any rate, he
But
does
it is
keep Chura
weird. It's
Olivia
I'm not, but it
fresh.
is still weird. What's that?
But at any rate, he does keep Chura Olivia fresh.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hmm
Do you?
With hot
I
churros.
still. Do you like churros? By the way, I love churros.
Dude, I've never had churros.
You've never had churros?
No, I'm from the Northeast. Like
But they
people in the
don't have them
Northeast
somewhere
don't.
in Baltimore. They have to have a place somewhere with churros.
I mean, I feel like it's not a cultural thing here. Like where I
Churros
live,
are universal at this point. You can find them in every major city, I
where I
feel.
live in Maryland, like it's a very black and white place, and
Like you mean
I feel like
literally and
maybe
figuratively.
to eat churros, you might need um like a Hispanic influence
But
that's
you have
really
no
not
restaurants
here.
like Spanish or any type of like Spanish cuisine. Because if you go to one of those restaurants, for sure you could get churros on the dessert. There's probably a churros option.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
gonna find churros and
mm,
have them shipped to your house.
mm,
Will you
mm.
try them if I do that?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
Ooh, cool.
I'm. I mean, I feel like there's like Mexican places around. Okay, well,
It's
I'll look at
churros
I'll look
also
I'll
are
look at that after.
they're available I think in many of the Spanish cultures, but I think churros originated in Spain if I'm not mistaken. So you have to find like a Spanish restaurant. But I've seen them at Cuban restaurants, I've seen them at Mexican restaurants, so maybe it's like a widespread thing. I'm sorry, audience, that we're going on this churros. This is what churro Livia does is like now we're talking about churros. I think that's a good place to end. We're gonna follow up with Braxton once he's had churros, and we're gonna see Braxton would. We'll see if churro Olivia makes more sense. But they are delicious. You know what they're like? You've had like cinnamon buns.
Oh yeah.
So they're like a crispier cinnamon, but it's like a long kind of like a crispy long piece of doughy bread cake thing.
Mm, mm,
And you
mm.
dip it in chocolate. So you
Oh
have cinnamon
wow.
and chocolate, and it's like just divine. Just
Ooh,
divine. Yeah.
cinnamon chocolate and whipped cream too, dude.
You could do that. Yes, you can.
Oh my gosh, dude, that sounds
See?
so
It's
good.
good. That's true Olivia. True Olivia. All right.
I mean, I love cinnamon, dude.
I do too.
Cinnamon
Well,
and bread and fried things, dude. I would probably totally love
oh, I
churros,
forgot one
dude.
more slide. Darn it. Bad Starfleet boy. This is the last slide. Now we can give our closing thoughts.
And
Uh,
dude,
I
so
I
what are
hold
the
my
ships
10. What's
around,
that?
dude?
What's
What are
that?
the ships that were around the
Oh,
Cerritos?
they're like kind of variations of ships we've seen before, but the one all the way to the right is appears to be an Andorian cruiser of some kind.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's an Andorian cruiser? The one
yeah,
that's in the
yeah.
forefront there on the
No,
right?
sorry, all the way in the back. The forefront is the Dove. That's the Dove. That's
Oh,
the
that's the
spa
Dove.
ship. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The foreground ship. Yeah,
Okay. The
yeah.
Dove is
Cerritos looks really
unexpectedly
pretty in this shot.
large. But I guess, they have to have all those environments, so it makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a big ship. I like it. I like the nacelles or whatever they are. Yeah, it's a very interesting design. I don't have it up on the screen, but on Text Trek, Father showed the previous Indosian ship that we got, which was the one in the episode with the farm. It was like it looked like a hot rod in space. Like remember, it was like black and red or black and purple or something like that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So Braxton, I hold my 10 from our We don't usually give ratings on those spaces, but I was too excited. I gave this episode a 10. And I still think it's my favorite episode. It was such a sweet, at the end of the day, like it was just a sweet episode. It was like very like focused on the lower deckers, but also gave us like some really delightful hints at the inner lives of the upper deckers. So yeah, I just like, and as far as the episode goes, it made me chill out. It reminded me that you got to take a day off. You you got to like do something to pamper yourself or relax, whatever that is. And I'm happier. I'm so happy when my Star Trek teaches me stuff, and Lower Decks did that, so it's very cool.
Starfleet Boy, every week you're affected by recency bias. Every week you're like,
I
"Ooh,
am. I
this
am.
is the best episode yet."
But it is. It's exciting. And actually, this is not true in the past. Lately, Star Trek has just been firing on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned. I'm enjoying everything I've been seeing so far. We'll see how we go. You know, you never know. Starfleet Boy is not afraid to say something sucks, but I like it.
Mm.
I genuinely like it. So yeah, call it whatever you want. Recency bias. You know, we'll revisit these in 20 years and see how I feel about them then. But it's true right now. Right now, I'm very hyped for Star Trek.
Mhm, mhm,
And I can't
mhm.
tell you how excited I am for Picard. I can't wait till season 3 comes out. And I think there's gonna be something cool at New York Comic Con. There's a lot of Picard presence. It looks
Mm,
like there. So
mm.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Dude, yeah, it's exciting times, dude.
Yep. So what about you, Braxton? What do you give this episode?
So
Final
I give this
rating.
episode a 9.
Well, that's a high rating. That's
The last
awesome.
episode, I gave a 10. I think that I gave 10 the last 2 weeks. But to me, this episode was not as good as last week. But I did enjoy the team building. I did enjoy the adventure through the underbelly of the ship, and then I really liked the resolution, and then I really liked Ta'ana's scene. So I think this was a great episode,
Great
and I
episode.
do give it a 9.
Yay! So averaging out at a 9.5 between us, we'll say, and so that's a pretty good rating for this episode. Folks, tune in next week on Thursday. We are going to be back, but on Twitter Spaces. Braxton and I have been kind of doing a co-hosting thing, and it's been really fun for like a lot of weeks. Braxton, we've been doing those spaces. We took a little break when Star Trek took a break, but yeah, we've been doing a lot of those spaces. They're a lot of fun. There's also another cool space. I won't be able to attend it tomorrow, so you guys who like Dr. Crusher, go check out the Crusher Convo. And they just launched their own Twitter handle for Crusher Convo, so you can go and follow that handle if you want to get updates on Crusher Convo. But that's another cool Twitter Spaces. There's other Twitter Spaces that are starting to pop up, so keep an eye on Twitter Spaces. I like that. I love the Twitter Spaces, like the idea of like folks being able to come on stage and kind of share in real time some of their thoughts and stuff like that. I feel like it's a fun way to talk about Star Trek. So if you want to give it a shot, you can come to ours or go to any of the other ones. And then also on Saturdays we talk about the animated series, the original animated series, as I've been starting to call it, because we have 3 animated series now. And so that's at Saturdays at 3. What's going on, Braxton? Is everything okay?
Dude, I'm hearing a noise.
Oh, I hope
Is,
everything's okay.
do you hear that?
No, I don't hear it.
Like it sounds like a chainsaw or something. Maybe somebody's just like cutting some fencing or
Yeah,
something.
let's hope so. We might want to keep on the air just to make sure Braxton's okay.
Now it's going away. Now it's stopped.
All right, cool. And then Sundays we'll be back here next Sunday to talk more Lord X. And then now, in just a little bit of time, so at 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'm gonna join Fathery, and I think maybe Dom will be on this week, or maybe it's
Oh,
Captain Jack,
sweet,
or maybe it's
dude.
just
Oh,
me and Fathery. We're
sweet.
not sure. I don't remember. But go over to Trek Central, and we're going to talk about the latest stuff going on in Star Trek in general, but also, of course, this episode of Lower Decks, but with their spin on it, with our week's end spin on it. So check it out. Live long and prosper, everybody, and we will see you next time. Oh wait, Braxton, tell folks how they can follow you.
Everyone can follow me on Twitter at Leviathan 026. You can also find me sometimes talking with Starfleet Boy about the latest track. Soon you'll be able to hear my thoughts on House of the Dragon with Geek in Review.
Ooh, when
Al,
is
that's going to
that?
go up today. His review of
Oh,
episode
cool.
4. So yeah, I'm kind of around the Trek sphere
I
in
love it.
different places, but primarily I'm on Twitter at Leviathan026.
I'm so proud that we discovered you, Rexon. Now that you're famous, it's so cool. Can I get Discovery bragging rights? So just a little update on Trek Central. It's just gonna be me and Fathery, so I hope you'll come anyways.
Absolutely, dude. I'll be there. I'm gonna listen to you guys while I'm at the gym this afternoon.
Nice. Linda gives this episode a 9 out of 10 churros, so that's pretty cool. I can't wait for you to try churros, by the way. Maybe you'll do a video of you tasting it for the first time so you could tell, like, do a live, like, send a recording or something. It might be
Dude,
fun
when
to,
am I
like,
gonna get some
play it.
churros?
We got to get you churros. I'm going to find out. We'll find out off screen here. All right, folks, live long and prosper, and we will see you next time.